You're very welcome. So starting today, just checking that you have your supports nearby, your blankets if you need them. Spend a few moments finding a comfortable way to sit for you. It can be in Sukhasana with the legs just crossed like so, sitting on a cushion or block if needs be, or if you prefer to sit with the legs straight out, do that. Or indeed, for the first little bit, if you prefer to lie down, do that. Bring the backs of the hands just to rest, the palms facing up, and close the eyes. And close the mouth. And just spend a few moments kind of arriving to this position. So you'll physically arrive there, but perhaps your head is all over the place. So inviting your thoughts and your awareness to come into the body. Maybe begin at the bottom of the body, notice the meeting points between your body and the floor. Establishing where you feel solidly supported by the ground below you. And then noticing what parts of the lower part of the body touch against each other. It could be a heel against a shin, a toe against a calf. Notice where your hands rest and that physical weight of the hands on whichever part of the body they're resting on. Notice the feeling of any clothing on your body and your lower legs, and the abdomen, and on the chest. Become aware of the meeting points between your eyelids, where your tongue rests in your mouth, where your lips meet. And then take your awareness to your nose and your sense of smell. With your eyes closed, just being aware of your sense of sight, the ability to see, create images in your head. Take your awareness to your mouth and be aware of any taste in your mouth this time. And at what position within the mouth that taste is perceived or sensed. And bring your awareness to your ears and your sense of hearing and just tuning into the sounds all around you. Sitting there, witnessing the sounds as they occur, naming them if that helps, but not letting your thoughts follow the sounds. Bringing them back to your sense of hearing, waiting for the next sound to come into your soundscape. And the next one. And every so often your thoughts might wander, so you acknowledge that and gently bring them back again to your sense of hearing and what sounds you can perceive or hear. And then bring your awareness from those sounds, knowing that they'll change over the course of the next little while, and you're just going to leave them there, not reacting to them, letting them come and go. Bring your awareness then to the tip of your nose and to the air entering at the tip of the nose. The texture and temperature of the air as it enters the nostrils. Being aware of where that breath travels to as it goes up through the nose. Being aware of what kind of movement accompanies the breath on the way in. where it goes to in the body on each in-breath. And you're not controlling now, you're just watching. And then as the body breathes out, you're aware of where that breath feels like it's coming from, what movement accompanies the breath on the way out, the temperature, the texture of the air as it leaves. And again, it can be a compulsion to begin to try and control the breath as you watch it, but you try and let go of that if you notice you're doing it, and just observe the breath the next few moments, going in through the nose and going out. And then bring your awareness maybe to somewhere just below your throat, in the center of the chest, where you know that the breath is passing in and out from. And bring your awareness to that point alone, watching as the breath passes that point. So it could be somewhere in the middle of your chest or at the nape of the neck. The breath comes in, the breath goes out. All of your awareness just on the breath coming in, the breath coming out. And occasionally your mind will wander, and you acknowledge it and bring it back to observing the breath coming in, the breath going out. You know where to go, nothing to do, just observing the breath for the next little while. Bringing yourself into the present moment. Leaving aside thoughts of other people, things. The breath comes in. And the breath passes out. Witnessing your breath. You'll never have this particular breath again. So you're fully present with it as it comes in. And fully present and interested with it as it leaves. And then letting go of that observation of the breath and just setting yourself the intention that for the next little while you're giving yourself a little bit of time to be here and practice yoga. And then when you're ready, open your eyes. Take a few moments, just be aware of how you're feeling now. And then if you need to change the cross in your legs or changing your position, do that now. Sometimes it's just nice to change which one's in front, which one's behind. And then we're going to just begin with the neck. So I'm kind of aware that a lot of people spend a lot of time at desks, or driving. So we're going to begin by just bringing your awareness to your neck. Take a breath in and feel like you're sitting well and you're breathing up from your sit bones up to the top of your head. And as you breathe out, turn your head to look to the right. As you breathe in, when you're ready to do so, come back to center. And when your body is ready to breathe out, turn your head to the left. And we're repeating that 2 more times. Breathing in, bring the head to center. As you breathe out, turn your head to the right. When you're ready to breathe in, bring the head to center. When you're ready to breathe out, head to the left. And then back to center. Head to the right, back to center, head to the left, back to center. And then with your face just facing forward on your next breath out, and let your chin just fall toward the chest. So you'll feel the stretch at the back of the neck. Shoulders are relaxed, head, arms are supported, hands are supported. And then as you breathe out, it's as if you're going along the perimeter of your chest and you're just rolling your head in a kind of quarter circle to bring your ear to be above your right shoulder. Then as you breathe in, come roll back to the center. As you breathe out, roll in the opposite way. Breathing in, come back to center, going to the right. Breathing in, coming back to center, rolling along the perimeter of the jaw to the left. Breathing in, back to center. One last time, side to side. Go to the right. Come back to center as you breathe out. Breathe in, and breathing out, going to the left. And back to center. Let your chin just rest there for a moment. Breathe in, lifting the head. And turn the gaze so you're looking up to the ceiling. So you're not throwing the head back so much as you're very aware of the movement of the skull at the top of your spine. And then as you breathe out, allow the chin to come back to the chest. Breathe in, coming up. And looking all the way up to the ceiling. Breathing out, looking down. Breathing in, coming back. And this time you're looking forward, but it's slightly different to the last one. You're just going to let your right ear fall toward the right shoulder. Breathe in, come back to center. As you breathe out, allow your left ear fall to the left shoulder. Breathe in, come back to center. And again to the right as you breathe out. Breathe in, come back to center. When you're ready to breathe out, feeling the lovely stretch on the right side as you drop the left ear to the left shoulder. Back to center. Now we're going to combine them all. So as you breathe out, allow your chin to fall to the chest. Breathe in, come back to center. Looking up to the center as you breathe. Come back to center. Breathe out, allow your right ear to fall to the right shoulder. Breathe in, come back to center. Breathe out, let your left ear fall to the left shoulder. Breathe in, come back to center. We're going to do that 2 more times. Breathe out, allowing your chin to fall to the chest. Breathing in, come back to center. As you breathe out, allow your gaze to go up the way. Your head will tilt back slightly. Come back to center. As you breathe in, breathing out, right ear to the right shoulder. Come in as you breathe back. Breathe in, and then you go to the left ear to the left shoulder. Come back to center. Breathe out, allow your chin to fall to the chest. Breathe in, back to center. As you breathe out, you're looking up toward the ceiling. When you're ready to breathe in, bring the head back to center. As you breathe out, allow your ear to fall to the right shoulder. Breathing in, come back to center. As you breathe out, allow your left ear to fall to your left shoulder. And breathe in, come back to center. Okay. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, turn your head to look toward the right and holding it there for a few breaths. Then aware the stretch side to side, the shoulders are relaxed. Breathe in, come back to center then, and then going to the other side and holding it there for a few breaths. Been aware of the difference from side to side. Maybe it feels different to when you did this earlier, maybe not. Come back to center. Allow your right ear to fall towards your right shoulder. And then bring your right hand just to rest. No, you're not pulling, you're just slight weight in the hand. The weight of the hand just resting on the head. And at the same time, you're kind of pulling your head into the side of the head kind of pushes into the palm of the hand. So the hand is not doing much, it's just the head is trying to pull up against the weight of it. And then release the hand, come back to center, and then go on to the other side. Take this hand, gently placing it there for a little bit of resistance. And the head kind of pushes into the hand. Shoulders relaxed. Release. Come back. And again, turn the head from one side. Hold it. Come back to center. Turn the head to the other side. And hold it. And again, come back to center. Okay. And then from there, we're going to come on to your knees. So you're on your knees are hip width apart. That's just to change the position, getting that feeling of extension now the front of the hips. And you're just bringing the shoulders up to the ears, bring them back and down. And we're going to go 5 times. As you breathe in, bring the shoulders up, back and down. And again, up back and down. About 5. I lose my count generally. So it feels like 5 for you. And then you go the opposite directions as you breathe in, going back, up, forward and down. Okay, and then letting your shoulders hang for a moment. Draw the shoulders up to the ears. And with a big sigh at home, just drop the shoulders and do that 2 more times. Breathing in. Hold the breath in for a few moments. Get the sense that your neck has nearly disappeared. When you're ready to breathe out with a big sigh, drop the shoulders. And feel like the sigh is coming from down here in your pelvis. Breathe in. Hold it, and then okie dokie. And then from there, allow your thumbs to roll out the way. Palms will face up. Bring the shoulders out just below shoulder level. Hands out just below shoulder level. And then as you breathe in, turn the palms to face down. As you breathe out, turn the thumbs to face down, palms back the way. Breathe in, palms face down. Breathe out, palms face up the way. Breathe in, palms go down. Breathe out, thumbs and the palms face back the way. Breathing in, palms face down. Breathing out, palms face up the way. And breathing in, palms face down. Thumbs go down on your next breath. And then bring the hands behind you, as far as they'll go, and then just if you can link the fingers so that they rest around the buttock level, okay. And then from there, as you breathe in, can you lift the hands away from the buttocks? Without jutting the whole of the chest forward, the chin forward. As you breathe out, lower the hands. Breathing in, lifting the hands away. Breathing out, lower the hands. So you're creating space between the hands and the buttocks, and you're opening the front of the collarbones. Breathing in, shoulder blades glide toward each other. Breathing out, trying to not to jut the chin or bring tension into the chin and the neck. Breathing in, draw the hands away. Breathing out, lower. 2 more times. Breathing in, bringing the hands away. And breathing out, lower. So maybe a big movement, maybe a small movement, depends on your body. The last time, holding the hands to whatever level they can be. Hold the hands, breathe. Feel what it's like to breathe in here into the chest and the abdomen, which maybe doesn't go all the way to the abdomen. And then slowly lower the hands down, release the arms. And now you can sit on your heels or be on your knees, whichever you prefer. And bring your hands in front of you. And it's like you have a screen just in front of your chest. So you're not up here and you're not way down there. You're just kind of, when you bend your elbows, if you have your hands hanging here and you bend your elbows, your hands are like this. And then as you breathe in, push the hands away, as if you're pushing something away from you. As you breathe out, curl the fingers, draw the elbows back to the same level they were in before. They're not elevated from their kind of hanging position. And then let the fingers fall back. Breathe in, push the hands away, just below shoulder level. As you breathe out, curl the fingers, draw the elbows back. When you get back to the maximum level, just allow your fingers to fall back. Breathing in, pushing the hands away. Breathing out, curling the fingers, drawing the elbows back. Shoulder blades glide toward each other, and the fingers fall back. Just to get a little bit more into it. Breathing in, pushing the hands away. The fingers are active, they're not lazy, and you're pushing through the ball of the hand. Bringing the elbows back. This time when you bring it back, holding it. Let the fingers fall back. Hold it, breathe. And try not to jut out the lower chest. You just have that sense the elbows are going back. The chest stays where it normally would. So you're squeezing the shoulder blades toward each other. And then let the palms face up. And then bring the hands just to be at shoulder level with the palms facing up the way. And allow the hands to move out as you breathe in. And breathe out, bringing them back just to face forward. Breathing in, bringing the hands back. Thumbs going back, as if you're holding them like a waiter tray. Come back to center. Breathing in, bringing the hands back. And breathing out, bringing them back. And lowering them arms. Okay, we're going to come from there then to lie down onto your tummy. Or it's not onto your tummy, onto your back, excuse me. And your knees are bent, feet are bent, and your knees are hip width apart. And the first place we're going to bring our awareness to is the area behind the navel. So that part of your back, just behind the navel belly button area. And also to your pelvis. So often it can be nice just to place your hands on the bony bits there of the front of your hips. As you breathe in, it's like you're tilting those bony bits. You can see here I'm exaggerating them with my thumbs up. Forward. Your tail, the very bottom of your spine, kind of tilts toward the ground. And then if you notice the area behind your waist, there'll probably be a little bit more space than there was. Maybe enough for a grape or a mandarin, or it depends on your body. It could be even just a raisin. But you're tilting that way forward as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, you're bringing the tail a little bit, it scoops the other way. And your front of your hips go back the way. And you eliminate any space here behind the waist. But there's no lifting of the buttocks. It's just rolling the hips forward. Rolling the hips back. Or thinking of it another way, bringing your awareness to the bottom of the spine. Bringing your tailbone toward the ground. Rolling your tailbone away from the ground. Or you can think of it another way, creating space as you breathe in behind the waist. Eliminating that space behind the waist as you breathe out. And just stay in with the movement. Whenever you do, we'll be here for a few moments. Each person will move at a different rate. It'll depend on your breath. So as you breathe in one way, you're not forcing it, you're letting the breath come in as it normally would, and you're just articulating the movement to match the rate of the breath. And as you become aware, after a while you rest into it, just being aware of what happens in your body. Where is the effort when you're eliminating the space behind your waist? Where is the effort when you're going in the opposite direction? How does it feel? Side to side, is there a difference? Are you aware of sensations down the legs, up into the shoulders, up the spine? Just by this articulation of the pelvic girdle. So you're completely here, just tilting one way, tilting the other. And when you do breathe in, just allowing that breath, like the belly to be soft and the breath to go down into the lower part of the belly, down into the pelvis. The interaction between the breath and the upper part of the legs. And when I say the breath, I don't mean the actual air going in so much as the movement that accompanies the breath. Diaphragm moves down into the abdominal cavity and you get a corresponding movement in the pelvic diaphragm. And then when you're done enough of that, you just rest for a moment. Then bring the knees in over the tummy. Okay. And you can have the hands down alongside the body or on the abdomen, whichever is comfortable for you as you breathe in. Stretch through your right leg as if you're bringing the heel, as if you're trying to put a footprint on the ceiling. As you breathe out, bend that knee. Breathing in, stretch to the other side. Breathe out, bend that knee. Breathe in, stretch to the right. Lower. And we're going to go maybe 5 times on each of them. I say that, but I always lose count when I'm not, even when I'm doing just on my own. Okay, so when you have around 5 done and you've both sides done an equal amount of times, just letting the legs rest and then stretch up to both of them and then rotate the ankles. Now, if you don't like having both legs in the air when you're rotating the ankles like this, have the knees bent over the tummy like this and continue like that, that's fine. But you're trying to here just get a bit of length. So you're just kind of like your feet are dancing mid-air, and then you change the direction, and your ankles might be talking to you, and one ankle will feel different. So you circle in a few times in one direction. When you get tired of doing that, go the other, and then alternate, go back and do the first one again. Be aware of what happens for your ankle, your lower leg, the front of the foot, the bottom of the foot. And then bring the knees back in over the tummy. And lower the feet onto the ground and separate the legs. So they're a good bit apart. If you look down, they're kind of, there's a slight V, if you want, shape. They're not in like this. They're out a good bit apart. So we're just going to give a bit of space now for the hips to move around. I'm just moving out away from my wall. As you breathe out, you allow the knees to fall to the right. Your neck and head move to the left. Or just stay looking up to the ceiling. Breathe in, come back to centre. As you breathe out, the knees go to the left. And you're going like that 5 times. That's my number of today. And you're just letting your breath determine it, and be really aware of the movement within the hip socket and down the lower legs. Listen to your knees if they're anyway sore. Maybe you need a support on the outside or the inside of the knee, depending on which way it feels sore. So something like don't go so low. And then when we're going to rest in a couple of moments on one side, you might have to have something like a cushion under any knee that feels sore. And when you have your 5 done, I've lost count again, allow your knees to fall to the right. Allow them to rest there. Turn the head to the left and breathe. If it's comfortable for you, you can take your left hand, stretch up, first of all, so the thumb is pointing up to the ceiling, or the fingers are pointing to the ceiling, and then stretch back as if you're trying to get something behind you, behind your head, or behind the crown of your head, and breathe. And then you can extend the stretch a little bit more, where you start to kind of lift the left buttock a little bit more from the ground, so that you're stretching along the left a little bit more. But listen, don't push to the limit, just listen to what's right for your body at this time. And then slowly lower that arm. And bring the neck and head and the knees back to centre. And then allow the knees to go to the other side. Lift the arm if that's comfortable for you, bringing it back and your fingers are active. It's not like you're just kind of throwing the arm up there, and then you can turn the head to look. So you have a stretch down this part of the body, and then it might feel nice just to get a bit more of a stretch, like you have a bit of effort. I'm limited space here slightly. And breathe. And then turn the head to centre as you lower the arm and bring the knees back to centre. Okay, and then you're going from there, and we're going to extend up through your, first of all, we're going to bend both knees, bring the soles of the feet together, and the knees go wide. And your hands can be on the shins or down at the ankles, whichever is comfortable for you. You're trying to encourage your knees to go away from the face, and you're pressing the feet together into your supine cobblers pose. And then from there, we're going to just keep hold of the shins or the ankles or the feet, whichever is comfortable for you, as you bend the knee, you keep the knees bent, and you bring the soles of the feet up to the ceiling. Okay, and then you bring the soles back down again to touch each other. And we're just going to do that a few times, bringing them up. The knees stay bent, bring them back down. So we're just going to see what it feels like to have them in this position. See what it feels like to feel in this position. And the next time you bring the feet up, you can have the hands here, you can have them inside the shins, you can have the hands at the big toes, like this, with the long finger and forefinger inside the big toe and the little finger, or just take hold of the toes. Or you can have the hands inside the heels.
And you breathe in. But the thing is that you're going to nice wobble and move in happy baby pose. So for different people, that will mean different things. Legs are wide apart now. They're the same width apart as my knees, which are nearly shoulder width apart or hip width, or further than hip width apart. My hands are inside my knees. My arms are. So even if I'm holding here, they're inside my knees. And you're just getting a feeling for what that's like. And you're trying to get those knees a little bit further apart. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet back down again to be together. Maybe it feels a little bit more comfortable than it did before. Okay. And then we're going to draw the knees in so that they're just now slightly apart from each other. And we're going to just big circles. Pushing the knees away over to one side. Maybe 3 or 4 times on one side, and then go and change the direction. And then we'll place the sole of the feet down onto the ground. Breathe in, stretch up through your right. Oh, actually, first of all, we're going to stretch out through your right leg. As you breathe in, lifting the right leg up to the ceiling, heels up to the ceiling, toes to the face. As you breathe out, point the toes away and lower the leg. You have the arms alongside the body with the palms facing down. Breathing in, stretch up. Lovely length through the back of the leg as you breathe out, pointing the toes, getting the length of the front of the leg gradually. Breathing in, stretching up. We're going to do 5 times on this side if that's right for you. Approximately. And it's not about firing the leg up and getting to the end position and firing the leg down and getting to the end position. It's more about getting a sense of control over the range of motion of the leg. So here, as long as you're breathing in, you're going in one direction. And as long as you're breathing out, you're going in the other direction. And then when you have the 5th one, and the next time you come up, if you have 5 done or whatever you've done, press through the sole of the foot, get lovely length on that leg first, and then bend the knee out to the side a little bit and put the bony bit of the ankle onto the left thigh. And that might be you might just encourage that knee a little bit away from your face. The toes in that knee are pointing toward foot are pointing toward the knee on that foot. That might be you, or you might take a little bit step further where you lift the left leg off the ground, sole of the foot is pointing forward. And see what that feels like. As you breathe in, you draw the knee in, encouraging this one to stay away, but you're just putting a little bit more pressure here, but you're not working through any pain. And then slowly lower that one down again. I'm going to lift it again in a moment if that suits your body. As you breathe out, drawing that one in, and you're there and you find a nice comfortable position, and then you may or may not decide to put your hands behind your shin or upper leg, but just try not to bring tension into your shoulders as you do that. And you may or may not decide to straighten that leg. And when you have the leg straightened, as you breathe out, you draw that straight leg a little bit closer and encourage the knee away. So the knee can be here either, or the foot can be there or there, whichever is right for you. Don't be worried so much about getting to the end point as feeling into what's right for you today. And then bend the knee and slowly lowering it down. Lengthen that leg away and then lengthen the other leg away as well. And just be aware of the difference from side to side. And then bend both knees. Lengthen through the left leg. Palms are facing down the way. As you breathe in, leg comes up, heel to the ceiling, toe to the face. As you breathe out, lower down. And you're controlling that movement, breathing in. And we're going to do around 5 here. As you breathe out, lowering down. Being aware of what kind of helps you in this movement, what feels right, what feels okay. I could do less, I could do more. Maybe you're finding that one part of the range of motion is more difficult than the other. The leg feels heavier on the way down, whatever it is. You're trying to get as even a movement in as you can. And for those of you who are used to practicing yoga, you may become aware of that gap between the inhalation and the exhalation a little bit more. And then the next time you come up, just keeping that leg up nice and long. Feel the lovely length through the back of the leg first of all. And then bend the knee slightly, turn it out. So you're turning the femur in its socket. And then you're placing the bony bit of your ankle onto that thigh, and that could be you. And where the hips are still lovely and squared up the way. And then as you breathe in, you may or may not decide to lift your right leg up. You may or may not. It's completely up to you on today. This toe is pointing to the knee. And you draw that knee in a little bit, and you try to keep that knee away. Drawing the knee in. So you're bringing a stretch into there's a lot going on. You're stretching this hip a little bit, and at the same time you're bringing strength into this side. Breathing in again, we're going to go. Bring the hands, if it's comfortable without. If you're doing this with the shoulders to get there and your neck feels out, just leave the hands out of it. Have the hands on the abdomen. But if it's comfortable for you, you can bring the hands to here and then straighten up through that leg. And breathe. So there's space between the left knee and your chest or abdomen. That'll be different for different people. And you're strongly pressing through the heel on the straight leg if it's straight. And even if it's not straight, you'll be in that position, you're pushing through the heel. And then bend the knee and lower the leg. And stretch out through the leg and let the other one lengthen down out of that position. Okay. And then from there, we're going to come back, bringing your awareness once again to your pelvis, and we're going to just do that lovely pelvic tilt again. So you're bringing your awareness to your tailbone. Have the hands in the front of the hips if that helps to inform you of what's going on for you. Otherwise, have them lying down. And as you breathe in, you tilt the tail toward the ground, the hips go forward, and you have space behind your waist. As you breathe out, you're curling the tail a little bit away as your hips go back, and you're eliminating the space behind your waist like you're squashing a grape. As you're breathing in, tail goes toward the ground, front of the hips go forward. And as you breathe out, and we're just going to do that a few more times. Maybe it feels different to the last time. You're not pushing again. Try and be mindful of the full range of movement. You're not trying to go to maximum one way and maximum the other. The whole range of what's happening is important, or is worth consideration. Put it another way. So what happens to allow this movement so that you bring space? Where it feels contracted, where it feels stretched. And then the same in the other direction. So you're completely aware of what's going on in the pelvis. As you breathe in, or do you feel pressure as you breathe out? What movement accompanies that? Okay, and then from there, we're going to extend that movement a little bit more. So you begin with that movement of where you eliminate the space behind your waist and your tail moves ever so slightly off the ground. And then pressing into your feet, you lift the tailbone, the buttocks now rise up, the waist and the lower rib cage, or whatever. You mightn't come up that far to begin with. And then we're going to lower down, and we're going to go up and down 5 times like that, approximately. As you breathe in, pressing in, lifting the back away. As you breathe out, lowering back down. Breathing in, lift the tailbone, buttocks, waist, lower rib cage. If that's what's right for your body. As you breathe out, lower down. And just no support under the neck now, as in you've no blankets or things under your head. Coming up. And as you breathe out, lower down. Now, so different people's breath lengths are different, so you work away like that as feels nice for you. And then maybe the next time that you come up, can you hold it a little bit, get that feeling of length, pressing into the heels, the ball of the foot, little toe side of the foot. And then slowly lower back down. And then we're going to bring a bit of arm movement into it now as well. Just forward. Palms facing in toward the thighs. Thumbs are up. Pinkies are on the mat. And as you breathe in, now if your shoulders are sore, you can leave this out and just do what we've been doing there just now. As you breathe in, but otherwise breathing in, bring the arms up and behind the head as you breathe in. As you breathe out, bring your tailbone, buttocks, waist, lower ribcage off the mat. As you breathe in, bringing the arms all the way back down to the ground. As you breathe out, slowly lowering the spine down onto the ground. Breathing in, bringing the arms up. When you're ready to breathe out, lift the tailbone, buttocks, waist, lower ribcage off the mat. When you're ready to breathe in, bringing the arms all the way back down along to the ground. Breathing out, lowering down. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, tailbone, buttocks, waist, lower ribcage. And then breathing in, arms down. Breathing out, lowering down. The next time that you come up, we're going to leave your arms up there, so it's a slight change. So as you breathe in, bringing the arms up, palms facing one another, tailbone, buttocks, waist, lower ribcage come up as well. And then you're leaving your hands there. And as you breathe in, lower the spine down onto the ground. It can be an in-breath or an out-breath, whichever. And then on the next part, the in-breath or the out-breath, come back up. So say we're working on an in-breath going down. And then working an out-breath coming up. You can play around. Some people would prefer to have an out-breath on the way down and an in-breath on the way up. Be more conventional. So see what works. But you're just lifting and lowering. Don't even worry too much about the breath. If you're new to this, just feel into it, what feels right. The next time you come up, holding it as you come up. What's it like to be there with the arms up in the air? And then on your next inhalation, bring the arms up and all the way back down to the ground. And as you breathe out, slowly lower the spine down onto the ground. And stretch out through both legs. And breathe. Then bend both knees, have the knees together, the ankles together, bring the arms a little bit away from the body. As you breathe out, allow your knees to fall to the right, turn your neck and head to the left. As you breathe in, come to center. As you breathe out, allow your knees to fall to the left, right neck and head to the right. Breathe in, come back to center. Breathe out, allow your knees to fall to the right, neck and head to the left. And breathing in, come back to center. Breathing out, allowing your knees to fall to the left, neck and head to the right. And then come back to center. So you can continue like that for 5 more rounds, or you can take it a little bit, make it a little bit different, where you bring the knees in over the tummy. Now this won't suit everybody's back, so if you prefer to have the soles of the feet on the ground, please do. And sometimes it can be easier to have the palms facing down and you're kind of activating into the fingertips, or you can have the palms facing up. So work with whichever one you like. Maybe if you always do the palms up, try it with the palms down. Okay. And then as you breathe out, allowing the knees to go in the direction of the right, neck and head in the opposite direction, or just keep the gaze up to the ceiling, which can be nicer. As breathing in, come back to center. As you breathe out, go on to the other side. Breathing in, come back to center. Breathing out. Breathing in, come back to center. Breathing out. So 5 of whichever one you prefer. And then when your knees come back in this time, even if they're here, then bring them up and take hold of your knees, either outside or under the knees, whichever is right for you. And lift the head, and you can rock gently from side to side. And then you have an option. You place the head down on the ground and roll over onto your right side and come up to stand. Or you can place the hands underneath the knees, lift the head. Now you need to know your back is able for this, so judge that. Either come up by rolling over to the other side or just rolling along the length of the back. And eventually, after doing this for a while, and you could stay here for a long time doing this, you can bring the soles of the feet just to rest on the ground. And from there, we're going to be in a seated position. And bend the knees again. So you're in the similar positions to how you were lying down, but you're sitting on your sit bones. The knees are in as far as you can get them into your belly, and your belly's hugging your knees. And you can wrap the hands around you, one elbow held in the other hand. And just let the head hang a little bit. See what that's like, just to feel like that. So it's just like the one you were doing, but you're just a different relationship to gravity, or different orientation to gravity. Same relationship. And then change the hands so you bring the other one on top. Just looking at your habits in terms of how you hold hands, and then release the hands a little bit and be aware of what holds you there. If you can hold that sense of the abdomen against the thighs without using the strength of the hands and the arms, what's holding you there? Just being aware of that, and the gaze is forward now rather than down. Let's stretch out through your legs, but you keep a little bend in the legs. For different people that will be more or less depending on what's right for your body, so tune into your body. Sitting onto your sit bones, if you need to have a little bit of support under your buttocks, do. And then take your left hand and your thumb, and as you breathe in, stretch up. So you've got that length from your tailbone all the way up to the arms. Now if your shoulders aren't on for stretching up like this, you don't need to stretch up so much with the arms. The arms can be here. As you breathe out, you're going to fold over your legs to wherever is right for you. And then allow your hands to come up the length of the legs, and you sit back onto the sit bones again as to wherever is right for your back, your body. No pain in the back at all for this. And then as you breathe in, bringing the arms up to wherever level suits you. Stretch up, breathe out, folding forward. And you continue in like that for 4 more times in this direction. Breathing in, stretching up, breathing out. And your head kind of stays in line with the spine if you're doing this. The circle could be small or big depending on what you need. And you lean back, being aware of what's holding you there. Shouldn't be any pain in the lower back.
And when you have the 5 done, just come to sit up. Now, I always lose count, so I apologise if I've done one less. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're going down the length of the legs now, opposite direction. Breathing in, you're sitting back to what suits you. The arms can be in big circles or small circles, so work to what's right for your shoulders, don't work through pain. And we're going 5 times in this direction. On your 5th time, when you come forward, rest down your abdomen and let your abdomen rest on your chest. That means on your thighs. If you need to bend your knees a little bit, do. And take hold of your opposite elbow underneath your knees. Now you can let your head hang in midair or let your forehead rest on your knees. And breathe there. And the idea of this pose is that you're resting your upper body on your lower body to a certain extent. There's a flexion in your spine, there's a roundness in your spine, but it's controlled and you're happy with it. Again, just notice, do you always hold the right above the left or the left above the right and change just sometimes to work against your habit? And then for some people it might be nice to stretch the legs out a little bit, but you still keep that little bend in the knees. And you still try and keep the contact between the abdomen and the thighs if that's accessible for you. As you're here, you're scanning the back of the body, and in no way should there be pain or that feeling of overstretching in one area or another. So for myself, it would be my lumbar spine I would tend to overstretch, so I try and ease off a bit there and find a bit of movement in the maybe further up the spine. Other people, it could be the back of the neck feels overstretched. You just move and wiggle and see what it's like. And then when you've kind of found a position where you feel all of the back is doing a little bit rather than one part of the back doing an awful lot, just settle. And notice what happens on the in-breath, what happens on the out-breath. Have the knees more bent if you need to over time, or less bent. You can relax the toes if you're comfortable to do that. Be aware of all the little movements down your legs which affect, may have a reaction further up your spine or and then slowly you're going to come out of the position. So if you've extended the legs forward, you might bring them back a little bit, release the hands, and even use the palms of the hands to come up, to sit up. Okay. And then we're going to go from there to bend both knees so the soles of the feet are on the ground, knees are hip width apart. We've done a lot of that today already. Lift and roll the shoulder blades and bring the hands back to rest. Actively rest with the fingers pointing forward or back. Now if you need to have something like a block or underneath the hands here, you can do that. Or you can be on your elbows if that's preferable for you. Have the elbows just below the shoulders. That's another option. So lift, roll the shoulder blades back, have them in place. Hands or feet are hip width apart. The chest lifts. This could be your version of the pose. You lift the chest as you breathe in, as you breathe out, just letting it sink a little bit. Breathing in, stretch into the chest. So you get that, rather than thinking stretch, think about length at the front of the abdomen and the thoracic area, and the gaze goes up. You're not throwing the head back, just the gaze goes up. And then you could extend it a little bit, that as you're doing that lovely lift, that something wants to walk under your buttocks, so you lift the buttocks up and you breathe up. Breathe as you come up, and then as you breathe, as you go down.
So a couple of things that happens, toes start to lift off, all the weight shifts back onto the heels. If you can, as far as possible, you're using the surface area of your feet to give you good support when you're getting up there. So spread the toes. Really ground into your, not ground, feel as if your big toe is active. Centre of the heel is active. Breathe in, press into the feet, lift the buttocks. Get that sense of your tailbone, your sitting bones are trying to shorten down a little bit towards your underside of your knees. Bring your attention back to your feet and then slowly lower down. Want to go up and down. If you need to take a rest, do rotate the wrists one direction then the other. And on your next one, lift, roll the shoulder blades back, floating up. Breathe in, as you breathe out, lower down. Breathing in, coming up. Breathing out, lower down. And then you continue to come up and down like that if you want, and take wrists, or you can come up and hold it for a few breaths, okay? As you breathe in, lift. And breathe. Be aware of all of your hands and feet on the ground. Be aware of the support that's got from them. The opener across the collarbone. We did lots of prep earlier on this. And then slowly lower back down. Release the legs. Rotate at the wrists. And then bring the arms back, rest on the shoulders. So your hands, if they're in there, you won't feel very supported. If they're too far back, it might feel sore on the front of the... So you're kind of just resting with the elbows somewhere below your shoulders. And that sense of lifting the chest and looking up. And there's often a good idea just to imagine something's behind you that's trying to get in under you. So you'll have to lift up a bit. Okay. From there, you can either take this version of it where you're just lifting the chest, or you point the toes forward. The legs and feet are together now, and as you breathe in, the buttocks float up. As you breathe out, the buttocks float down. That's one version. Or the other version is again with the hands underneath the shoulders, elbows slightly bent to take the pressure, knees, feet together. As you breathe in, come up. As you breathe out, lower down. Or take the previous one, the upward facing table, whichever one you like. We're going to do it, we'll do it 3 times. And on the 3rd time, hold in the pose. So 3 times from now. So when you're ready, whichever version you're doing, either upward facing table or on the elbows with the upward plank, or this one. Breathe in, lifting up. Breathe out, lower down. When you're ready to breathe in, lift. When you're ready to breathe out, lower down. And the next one, take a little rest the wrists if you need to. The arms, do a little movement like that, just to loosen them out. Sometimes you need to loosen them again because they don't seize. And as you breathe in, lift. And the toes can be pointing up to the ceiling or to the ground, whichever is right for you. And your gaze is up to the ceiling, I would advise. Breathe, breathe, and breathe. And then slowly lower down. And release the hands. And release the legs. I'm going to come from there. Curl the toes under and come up to stand. We're just going to do a nice little balance. But for the beginning, first of all, in Tadasana, a standing mountain pose, as it's called, a standing pose. Different traditions call them different things. Lift and spread the toes. Like it might be the first time you've thought about your toes in a while. And then be aware of the centre of your heel. If you can get a sense of the centre of your heel. And then get a sense of the middle of the ball of the foot. And that part of your foot below the little toe. So they're kind of approximations to the arches, as they're called, in your feet. But kind of, if you imagine you have like a milking stool, you have 3 points that you're trying to balance over. And then your toes kind of extend from there. Not all the weight is over on your toes, it's not all back on your heels. It's kind of spread from across the toe of the feet. You've just been aware of whether you stand more heavily on one foot than the other. Just closing your eyes for a moment, being aware of the crown of the head going to the ceiling. Spend just a moment or two there and really aware of both feet. And in a moment, we'll be shifting the weight. But for the moment, if you can feel, well, which side, how does one side feel, how does the other? And then open your eyes and shift all your weight over to your left foot. Have your gaze at one point in the distance. Bend your left knee slightly as you shift all the weight over to it. Bring your right knee over your left. So it's like you're crossing it, the hips stay facing forward. Sometimes it's hard, and you can just have the toe at 10 o'clock, if you imagine the clock face. And then you're bringing that foot behind you. Draw on a circle. You can have the toe like tracing along the tip of on the ground if you need to, or you can have it just above. So you're standing, you can have the arms wide if that's what's required for you to keep your balance. Or you can have your hand on a chair. Standing knees bent, much more receptive and responsive to the moving, shifting weight of the moving leg. And this time, I think we've done about 5. This time when you come across, you have one foot across the other. Both knees are bent. Have a sense that you have a ledge that you're kind of just resting your 2 sit bones on, the bony bits of your butt. And then you might rotate the ankle and you might decide, okay, I'm still going to move my toe down. Or you might bring the toe behind the shin. Choice is yours. And then you can bring the arms out. Palms are facing up, just below shoulder level. And then you're going to give yourself a big hug by bringing the left over the right. And breathe, and the 2 knees are bent. And then you may or may not decide to take the next version, which you bring the backs of the hands toward each other and then the thumbs of the right hand to the palm of the left hand. So you can see what I'm doing there. Okay, I'll move back a little bit here so you can see me. And breathe. And then you can find that your elbows are resting on your chest. Just lift them up a little bit so they're just below shoulder level and draw the hands away from the face. And breathe in Garudasana or Eagle Pose. If you find your balance keeps going, try and just look at that point in the distance. Open the arms, release the legs, shift all your weight over to both feet now. Distribute your weight across both feet. Breathe. Just be aware of the difference from side to side. And then shift all of your weight over to your right side when you're ready to do so. And we're going to do the exact same activity on the right. So your right knee is bent. Bring the left across the right to like 2 o'clock on the clock face. Have the arms wide if you need to. And then you do your lovely big circles. And you're again, range of motion. It's kind of not a starting and stopping activity so much as constant movement. Response from the standing leg, so it needs to be bent. The arms can be wide if needs be. And then you bring your left over your right, resting the toes on the ground if that suits, and then you rotate that ankle, which we did at the beginning. Maybe the toes will go behind, maybe it'll be easier, harder on this side, maybe the toes will be on the ground, whichever version suits you. And then bring your hands, palms facing up, bring them over each other, giving yourself a hug right over left this time. Opposite to the legs, breathe. The weight is on that standing leg, even if the toes are on the ground, most of the weight's on the standing leg. Both knees are bent. Bring the backs of the hands toward each other. I'm just going to bend forward so you can see me. And then maybe bring the hands around to meet the palm. And your gaze is at one point in the distance. And you breathe. Wrist the elbows a little bit away from the chest. Draw the hands away from the face. Or if you're in the kind of more hug version, just extending that, maybe walking the fingers back toward the edges of the scapula. And then breathing in, opening the arms, uncross the legs. Step the legs and feet apart. Bring the hands down onto the knees. If you need to have the support of the wall behind you, or if you know that your back is a little bit sore, you can always just put the hands on the wall, like so. And rest like that with the knees slightly bent, feet well apart. Otherwise, you're here, the legs are apart. Bring the hands to the knee, lower the buttocks. Bring your belly to rest in your thighs. Allow the neck and head to hang. Breathe, settle there for a moment. You can keep the hands on the knees if you know you're a little bit tender in the back. Again, bring your awareness to the feet, stretch through the toes. Your knees are stacked above your ankles. And maybe for some people you might like to take hold of the opposite elbow. Let the neck and head hang and breathe. See what that feels like first. Some people will like to stay here. Others might like to take hold of their long big toe, depending on right or wrong. It's more listening to your body. And for some people you might like to straighten the legs a little bit. Keep that contact between the abdomen and the thighs if you can. Yes, your legs will be a little bit shaky. Yes, they'll be working a bit. But you're allowing the upper body to be at ease. Breathe in the posture. No pain. Effort may be on the legs, but the back should feel free. So if you need to bend your knees a little bit more to allow that to happen, do. And even wiggling sometimes a little bit in the pose can help. And then walk your hands to your knees. Lower the buttocks. Bring the neck and head in line with the spine. Use the hands to push up. Now you know yourself, you can come up in ragdoll if that's what's more, you're well used to it. And straighten the legs. And then come from there to lie down onto your mats once again. Bring in the stretching out through the legs, allowing the feet to roll away from each other. And bring in the arms a little bit away from the body with the palms facing up. Closing the eyes, closing the mouth. Giving yourself time to settle. Begin to scan that body from the top to the toes. Making any movements you need to make. And some of you will have a recorded yoga nidra here, so it's a good time to switch that on and cover yourself. Or if you haven't got the time for that today, just spend a couple of moments here scanning the body. From the top of the head all the way down to the toes. Be aware of your head, your neck, your shoulders, chest, both arms, elbows, hands, buttocks, pelvis, upper legs, knees, lower legs, ankles, heels, soles of the feet and all of your toes. And then scan back up each part. And just been aware of all the activity that goes on there under the skin without us even realizing as you scan back up. And then keeping that awareness all the way up. Tuning in to differences between right side, left side, ease and holding. And then you can either remain here for a little while or switch on the hour yoga nidra. Thank you very much for tuning in.